Let's turn to the DNC. Three names floating around to lead the party: Minnesota Congressman Keith Ellison, South Carolina Democratic Party Chairman Jaime Harrison, and former Vermont Governor Howard Dean, who already served a stint as DNC chair. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, there are three names, but there are others in the mix as well. There's been talk about the outgoing Labor Secretary Tom Perez, or a guy named Henry Munoz, who is currently the DNC's finance chairman, responsible for raising its millions of dollars. Many Hispanics feel that if Hispanics were so devoted to the Democratic Party this cycle, why shouldn't someone be in the top ranks of the party leadership representing their concerns? I think part of that conversation, though, is going to have to wait, frankly, until we see what happens to Nancy Pelosi. There were some interesting developments up here today. House Democrats met behind closed doors and agreed that they're not going to vote to pick their next leader in the House until after Thanksgiving. Pelosi may say that she was for that plan all along, but that's not the case. And what it does is it potentially leaves open the possibility that in the next few days, some other member of the House Democratic Caucus puts together the support to challenge her. Should she hold on and yet still face a serious challenge, it may put her on a clock to the end of her reign over this caucus. But a lot of the younger members are concerned about it, say that, after 10 years of her in charge, perhaps it's time for new leadership. Depending on how that goes, it may influence how the DNC race goes, which also won't be settled for a few more weeks. But there's ongoing friction right now between those who come from the Midwest, who are white, who say that the party ignored white voters, especially working class voters, and needs to do more to bring them back into the fold, and others who say, yeah, we do, but we also need to acknowledge that this is a party that is much more diverse than it used to be, that now has Hispanics, blacks, Muslims, gay people in much more prominent and active roles. So I think we're going to see, despite the drama at Trump Tower in preparations for the new government, some real drama playing out among Democrats about how they should comport themselves going into the new year and who should be leading the party.
I do want to ask you, Ed, about one name on that list, Congressman Keith Ellison. He once defended Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan against charges of anti-Semitism. He also once suggested a comparison between George W. Bush's consolidation of power in 2001 to the rise of Adolf Hitler. He's since backed away from both comments, but given Democrats' criticism of Steve Bannon, is there a risk for them in choosing Ellison?
Yeah, I would think so, and I've heard that expressed by some people, that not only has he taken some views that are out of the mainstream of Democratic thought and are considered perhaps improper, and yes, he has apologized for them, that he's also a full-time member of Congress, and that perhaps a full-time party chairman is what will be needed. He won't resign his seat were he to become party chairman. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who was running the party most of this year, was a part-time chairperson. In fact, the party rules state that the chairman is supposed to be a full-time official at the party. So they might either have to rewrite the rules, make an exception for Ellison, or find somebody who will hold the job full-time. That's part of what Howard Dean has been saying. But yeah, Ellison's comments in the past about the Middle East peace process and other subjects has been brought up privately to people I've talked to who say that he may not be exactly the best person to run the party. And yet, Elaine, let's acknowledge the fact that we live sort of in a post-decorum society. We just had a president elected who was incredibly politically incorrect every day out on the campaign trail. Maybe that stuff doesn't matter anymore. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's an excellent point. Things to watch on both sides of the aisle. Ed O'Keefe, thank you so much.
Take care.